Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And it is just after 8 o'clock, so we'll get on with it, as they say. My name is John Boatman. There is a bit of a clue because it's right next to my name and my picture, sorry. I've been a regulated financial advisor in the UK for 30 years. This year's my 30th year. I know I don't look old enough. Some of the products are helping, which we'll talk about. And I have a number of other businesses as well. Busy person. And over the last 3 decades of financial services, I've found that one of the reasons that people struggle financially is because they've learned nothing about money. We teach people to work for money, but we don't teach people how money can work for us. So I'm going to talk to you maybe from a different perspective. We're talking about a business presentation about a company with an opportunity for you to work with this company. But just before I get started and telling you a bit more about the company, just wanted to give you some kind of financial awareness. Um, we're going to talk a little bit and we're going to touch on something called residual income, sometimes called royalty style income or passive income. And what I want to leave you with later is for you to think about a question that's going to come up on the screen. And that is, what amount of money would you need every single month to live comfortably without working a job or running a business? And whatever that number is that you come up with, multiply it by 200. And this works with any number. And I'd really love you to think about that. And it's a rhetorical question, but also later after this presentation, love you just to think about this. Now, to give you, because it's 8 o'clock in the evening, just to give you a bit of help, whatever the number is that you've come to,
I've forgotten something, but
whoops, this is what you would need to build as an asset. So if you came up with €2,000, £2,000, $2,000 a month, you would need an asset of £400,000. You would need an investment fund or a property, and this would produce £2,000 a month. And the majority of people across the world are just not saving enough for their retirement. They're not saving enough to be able to retire earlier than maybe they originally thought. So I just really want you to think about it. It works with whatever number you choose, and it's based on a 6% return. So if you take 400,000 and invest it somewhere, don't worry about where at the moment, and you have a 6% annual return, this would equate to £2,000 a month. If you wanted £5,000 a month, you'd need €1 million, pounds, dollars in an investment. So most of our working life, we're not achieving this. 97% of the world's population work and for a salary or exchange their time and their skills for a salary, a job through a job. And sometimes there are people who are self-employed, but they're also exchanging their time and their skills for money. So by building an asset and finding a way of doing that, you can start to create real financial security. Now, I'm going to talk to you about, I'm just making sure that this flicks to the next screen. There we go. I'm going to talk a little bit more about health. Our business opportunity is in the health and wellness space. But I'm also coming from, the income point of view. Many more people now have more than one income stream, but more people are looking for financial security, touching on what I've just talked about. And with technology, innovation, AI, more jobs are going to be displaced. And more people are looking to maybe start their own business, to build something for themselves, around their family, alongside maybe a current job. And when we look at new business opportunities, it's really important that we feel safe, we feel secure, and we trust the information we're given. Now, many of you won't know me. I have been a regulated financial advisor, but I'm here just to give you some information. It's down to you whether this opportunity is for you and for you to do your own due diligence, just like I did. And I would encourage you to do that. Now, we're going to talk to you about a company called Zinzino. Now, a year ago, I didn't even know this company existed, but this is an incredible Scandinavian test-based life science company. And, you can start working in partnership with this company, or you can be a customer of this company. And if you were in partnership with this company, like I am, then you can build this around your existing job, your other business, around your family. So it's not like you'll be working for the company, you'll be working with the company. Now, I said I had never heard of the company a year ago. 8 years ago, I found out I couldn't have cow's milk. I've got an intolerance to cow's milk. And I really was suffering with IBS and some gut health issues. And in the middle of last year, just slightly, I think it was September last year, I did know about the company, but I didn't do anything about it. I didn't kind of look into the detail. And I have to word this right. My wife and I were in a hotel and we met two ladies, a lady called Ruth and a lady called Julia. I have to kind of make sure I say that the right way. And my wife and I were having breakfast and we bumped into them and we noticed they were using the product, some of the products. And I'm quite open about chatting to people. So I went over and I was chatting to Julia and she talked about the product and explained a little bit more to me. And I decided I wanted to kind of find out more. So we then just discussed this again, and here I am. And now I'm presenting this to you. So the company is not a company that's just suddenly turned up. This company's been around for 20 years, very well established, huge business, listed on the stock market, the Nasdaq in the US. And as we go through the presentation, you'll see that Zinzino offers products that people really do need. And we've got the evidence to prove that. And these products are used now daily by our customers over long periods of time. So this offers anyone looking for business opportunity or an increase in their income a really strong business foundation and an incredible business opportunity with relatively low entry costs and a real high upside potential. So when you're looking at any business, and I'm sure some of you already run your own business, or people who've started their own business. Even just opening a coffee shop can cost, hundreds of thousands of pounds with rent and staff and stock. And you'll see from the screen here that we're in many different territories around the world. We're operating in over 140 countries and, hugely well established and expanding very fast as well, or continuing to expand. Now, I'm very conscious of time. I don't want to keep you on here for hours. So I'm very conscious that I'm looking to run for 30 to 40 minutes maximum. So I really would appreciate your attention, because what I've realized is that people are taking supplements, but most don't actually know if those supplements are actually working. And if you're spending money on supplements, you'd think it would make sense to know if those supplements are working. And you'll see information on the screen that I'm not going to read it all out what you can see, because it's kind of obvious that there's millions and billions of pounds being spent on supplements, but many people don't really know what those supplements are doing or if they're doing any good. Now, Zinzino's completed over 1.6 million tests around the world, and by 2050 we expect over 1 billion tests to be completed. And with a very simple home-based test, Zinzino is identifying a real global problem and providing an effective, measurable solution, as I've said already, with a very strong business model. Zinzino connects a massive multi-billion-dollar health market with something that no one else really offers, and that's testing. And this is a trend, and it's unstoppable. And there's a key stat here: 97% of the world's population are failing this test. And I'll tell you more about that test in a minute. And isn't it scary that 97% are failing? So business opportunities are about timing, evidence, doing your due diligence, positioning yourself with the right kind of companies, and also leveraging your own time, not having to do all the work yourself like you would do maybe in a job or in a traditional business. And we're right at the beginning of this global market, and there's enormous potential with this amazing company, because people out there need our help. Zinzino is the first company in the world to make supplementary, not easy to say, supplementation even, I got it wrong, measurable personalized and scientifically proven. And that's why we believe Zinzino is one of the strongest business opportunities of our time right now. Health, wellness, and income going hand in hand. So this business is really scalable and it's an endless requirement for the world's population. So why not build your asset, as I talked about before, not relying on the traditional ways of retiring, but increasing income and creating your own residual style income. Unless you're going to sing a song or write a book, this is a way to generate income the way that these type of industries do. Now, let's just take a little step back because um, back many years ago, our grandparents used to eat a lot healthier than us, and these foods that they would eat would be full of vitamins and minerals, the right type of omegas, the right type of fats, and the ideal ratio of the omega 6, omega 3, which was coming from fresh fish and grass-fed meat and berries and grains and plant-based foods was normally, we'll be looking at 3 to 1. And what's happened now is we have a situation where a lot of the food that we eat is, processed food and very different to back in the day before the Industrial Revolution. And the human body hasn't really changed that much. I mean, mine has since Christmas a little bit, but the environment hasn't. And we're getting fewer nutrients into our body. And when we eat too much processed food, too much sugar, I have got a bit of a sweet tooth, I'll be honest, and too many empty calories, our bodies simply don't get what they need to function properly. And this is what I started to find out about my own gut health and therefore my brain health. I didn't realize there was a link between my gut and my brain. So as I started to go down the rabbit hole of understanding the nutrients we need, omega 6s, omega 3s, there's a lot of this is a lot of discussion about this. And these fats are kind of essential. We need to produce them, but they can't be produced on their own. We need some help. And every single cell in the body, is regenerated. There's 37 trillion cells in the body, and these are regenerated every 120 days. And keeping these cells flexible allows the nutrients to get in, but the toxins to get out. And this in turn, this supports our energy levels, our brain function, and strengthens the immune systems and maintains, healthy inflammation balance. Now, if we're not able to get a handle on this, we're just going to get, very unhealthy and in a danger zone. And now I'm going through this very quickly because when I look at a business opportunity, I want to know about the money side. I want to know that there's a credible company involved, and I want to know about where they're sitting here. And we're sitting in an area that's touching, medical science, and so there's a lot more information that you can look at for your due diligence. But what we're showing here is that kind of danger zone. In an ideal world, everyone would be 3 to 1 on that omega 6, omega 3 balance. But as you can see, the average ratio in Europe, for example, is 15 to 1. So it's a real issue, a real imbalance. And this is a kind of problem that's happening silently. Sometimes people don't find out for years and years and years before their symptoms appear, whether that's through their skin, through their heart, through their brain, through their gut. Even things like, in my case, I found out last year I had ADHD, just your brain, the way your brain's operating. So I didn't know about this stuff, even 6 to 12 months ago. But the more you look into it, the more you realize that pretty much everyone does need our help. Now they'll decide for themselves if they want that help. But we've developed a number of blood tests, very simple. And I wanted personally to know what was going on inside my body. So I wanted to be, a product of the system or the product of the business. And so by able to do this test at home, a small finger prick, We have a number of different tests, but the big one is the balance test. We've recently developed the world's first gut health test. Zinzino can then track and prove really where you're at, where your body is, not just guess. So we don't assume anything. We do this finger prick blood test, and we find out exactly what's going on. Now, Zinzino, what I love about this slide is the test result is being carried out not by Zinzino, but by an independent laboratory based in Oslo, a company called VITAS. Now, VITAS is well known within the industry. As you can see here, it's partnered with some of the world's most respected institutions, including King's College London, Oxford and Cambridge universities. They're also involved in major research projects such as the Harvard and Zoe studies, are trusted in the World Health Organization projects, supported Olympic level performance and research programs. So when I was looking at this, I thought, well, that's super important. That's so important to the business opportunity. And it's very important that it's independent from Zinzino. So it offers real kind of credibility, that kind of trust that customers are looking for. And what that then does is also gives the customer that kind of long wanting to remain with the company and have that kind of retention. So when you're looking at any business, you want a customer that's going to stay with you long term with that loyalty. Now, as a result of taking your own test, a few weeks later, you get a 20-page report. You also get a display on, electronically, as you can see here on the screen. And unfortunately, as I mentioned previously, 97% of people fail the test across the world. You don't need a doctor's visit. The analysis is done by, as I said, the VITAS independent laboratory. So this is a personalized result, and it's scientifically backed, and that makes a massive difference. So I wanted to know my result. So I got my result. Now my result was 30 to 1, right? So this started to explain quite a lot of things for me. And as I said, many of the world's population are failing this test. We've recently opened in China, so we haven't got enough data in China, but you look at the Middle East, 98%, North America, 99%. So a company with 20 years proven success, a very financially strong company, a company that's growing, a company that products are needed on a day-to-day basis, a high customer retention, a clear vision of where we're going, a market leader in the omega supplement or segment. And this slide shows that we have a problem and we need to fix it. And this is not a local problem, this is a global issue. And what that excites me about that is everyone wants a better health, but also in line with that, many people are looking for extra income. So the question really the question is no longer, is there a problem? The question is, how are we going to solve it? And Zinzino is obviously growing and solving it. So what we do as a result of taking the test and fixing the problem, this is what we do. So we start with a balance concept, and this is designed for every single day and using the products every day. And the core, if you like, foundational product is the balance oil, the Zinzino balance oil. Now, I'm not going to read everything on the screen. There'll be people on the call tonight that are much more medical than me, but it's a very simple daily oil. Okay. It's scientifically formulated, omega-3s that are from a sustainable source, whitefish, and everything is dosed by the body weight. So depending on the person's body weight and guided by that blood test and that result, we're not just guessing, we're starting with that foundational introduction into the body of this oil. And we know that we can retest. There are some other products, and depending on the test result, there can be some other products. As I mentioned, Julia and Ruth were using some of the products. One of them was a powder that was going on their yogurt. That's one of our other products. That's called Xenobiotic. And what's incredible really is that, and I found this a little bit scary, was the market. When you look at any business, the market that's out there is not just the adult population. It can be uh, well, in preconception, it can be babies, as you can see here, and also all the way through to working professionals and athletes, into the senior and the elderly. And I think I've started to realize there's absolutely no limitation on the use of this product and the use of this powerful solution that we have. 80% of the customers that do start using Zinzino products stay for the long term. They can see the benefits, they can see the results, and they make it part of their routine, just like brushing their teeth. So, there's some really important things going on here. Now, this is one of the final few slides, but it's a slide about regulation, credibility. Again, I won't read everything on the screen, but I would say that this was, again, important when you're looking at any business opportunity. For me, as I said, not heard of Zinzino, so I wanted to know more about the company and its certifications and its claims that it was making. And to have 18 health claims approved by the European Food Safety Authority is incredible. This is actually quite unusual. So when you look at this business, you can see it's got that credibility, it's got that strength. And what we can then do is start to fix this problem. And by taking our products and purchasing our products, our customers can get back into balance. And 95% of our customers who start taking the right product based on their test result come back into balance within 120 days. Just reminding you that our 37 trillion cells are regenerated again and again in that 120-day period. So what we do is we recommend some products, and we then ask people to retest after 120 days. So we're not guessing what's going on. We're measuring it, we're proving it, and we're doing another, finger prick test that the customer can do themselves, and then we go again. And we're seeing huge improvements. And certainly for myself, it's quite early days, but I certainly have seen an improvement. I would like to think in my brain function. I'm not sure how I'm performing right now, but my brain function's definitely a lot better. And I had a pacemaker fitted in 2019, so all of our hearts are important, but I think my brain and my gut certainly feel a lot more in balance, and that's been massive for me. Now, whoops, sorry. There's lots more medical information and lots more data that you can look at. But again, looking at the company, this is slightly out of date, but this is not a Mickey Mouse company. This company's huge, under 200 million, over 200 million euros turnover in 2024. And many businesses don't even survive the first year and the first 5 years, never mind 20 years. Very few continue to grow after 15 years. Now, Zinzino's growing and continually growing, very stable. And so what I would say to anyone looking at a business like this is, like myself, do your due diligence, understand what this business is, what you want from a business like this, if you do want anything from it, like an extra income. And obviously, I would suggest we would all be a product of our own business, taking the products ourselves. So as I come to an end, I just really wanted to leave you with, a thought, really, thinking about what I said earlier. What amount of money would you need to, be able to maybe not work a job, or retire, or maybe semi-retire, or maybe consult? And is the plan you've got in place right now working? Is it allowing you to plan for that retirement, or what the things you want to do in your life? More people now with things like Zoom and Teams are working in different locations. This is a business you could work from any location. Zinzino handle all the logistics, the marketing, the advertising. And what's different is Zinzino, you won't necessarily see them on billboards. You won't see them advertising. So rather than spend hundreds of millions of euros a year on advertising, this business grows through partnerships with people like you and me. So you can start to work with this company. in partnership with some training, with some support and guidance. I've seen that firsthand, exceptional. You can earn commission from simply selling the products. Or you can decide to build it bigger, create more leverage. So you're not doing all the work, but you're showing this option to other people, and they're given the chance to partner with Zinzino. And as a result of that, as part of the direct selling business model, you have like a franchise business. You have an operation that grows across the world, that you can be part of that initial stage of setting up your own business. So there's much more detail. And what I did is I simply went and understood this better, understood more about the company. So as I come to an end, and I have rushed through a lot of the information, I hope you've grabbed something that helps you. You hear what I'm saying about finances. Go back to the person who invited you to this call tonight. And why not start your own business? Why not get involved, try the products, talk to your family, talk to people you care and love, because the chances are they need your help. And you don't know what you don't know. You don't need to know everything to get started. You just need to show other people. And that's all I've done. And it's early days, and I hope to see you here again soon. And I think I'm going to end there because it's half an hour, and I wanted to get to the half an hour mark. And I'm happy to take any questions, not too medical, but I know we've got people here on the call that can help if you've got any medical questions. And thank you very much for joining. And look forward to seeing you build your Zinzino business.